Hey everybody, welcome to our DU family night. It is Thursday, February 22nd, and tonight we are really fortunate to have our guest speaker, Julia Meek, here tonight. So I'm going to introduce her in just a second, but I wanted to just kind of welcome everybody. We've got a lot of new coaches joining our team every single week. So I want to make sure we are making sure that they all know about this awesome resource for them. Let me just check the chat box really quick to make sure sound is okay for everybody. We were having a little small tech issues, so I want to make sure sound is okay for everybody. Hi, Allie. If that's Allie Schroeder, happy birthday. So fun. Okay. So sound is okay, I'm guessing. Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Sarah. So you guys, my name is Brittany Leggett. For those of you who might be new, if you're new, welcome to our coach family. These are our DU family nights where we just kind of dive into training together for about 30 minutes on a very topic-specific training that's really geared towards helping people, not just as new coaches, but as new leaders. So as you're listening to these topics, remember that if you are sort of comfortable in, the way that you're running your business, please make sure that what you are doing is able to be duplicated by your team, because doesn't really matter what works for you. It matters what can be duplicated. And so that's what I really love about tonight's topic. It's all about follow-up. And you guys, believe it or not, I believe the follow-up is just as important as the initial invite, if not more important. So of course you have to have the original invite in order to have the follow-up. But I would say they go hand in hand, and they are so valuable in terms of building your business. So I thought, what better person to host this training than my coach, Julia Meek. I am so honored to be her sponsor. She's a hard worker. She's a diamond leader. She's soon to be Mrs. She's a nearly newish engaged, beautiful woman. She's been a full-time realtor her whole time as a coach working this business. And just this month, she went part-time because of her success in her business. And you guys, Julia is literally among the top coaches in my personally sponsored, family every single week. Often she's the top coach. She is often the top Success Club earner within my personally sponsored coaches. She works hard. She is so consistent. And, I think this is going to be such a great training because it's going to give you guys fresh perspective, fresh eyes from a leader's perspective, so what she's actually doing and what's actually working. And what I love so much about this is that it is easy to duplicate. So Julia, I'm going to bring you on, girlfriend, and I'm going to stop screen sharing. And I just got to tell you again, thank you so much for your preparation in this training. Thank you so much for your willingness to share all of your goods, your ideas, your skill set. I think you are just honestly such a strong leader. And I know a lot of my PS family have gotten to know you and really look up to you as a leader in the team. And so I'm really excited for you to be able to share with the rest of the coach family. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize myself and let you take it away. I'll make sure that sound is good for everybody. So just make sure your microphone is on. And I have your slides when you're ready. So you guys enjoy this call. I hope you have pen and paper ready because these slides are awesome. This is a very teachable training. So make sure that you listen up and that you are ready to implement. Okay, Julia, thank you so much, girl. I'm going to give it to you.
If everyone can hear me, then I'm just going to hop right into it. So when I get my slides. Brittany, I don't know how to start my slides, but I'm ready.
There we go, Julia. Your slides are up, but we don't hear or see you right now. It might be just a glitch, but just want to make sure your audio is on. Quick sound check. Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah, nobody's talking right now. I'm just kind of giving her a second, texting her. Can you guys hear me okay? Quick sound check. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay. Give us just a second. Let's see. Okay, cool. Hang tight, guys. We're having a few glitches these last couple weeks. She's gonna rejoin and see if that helps. Kind of reboot. Okay, while we wait for her to hop back on, I just published a poll. So go ahead and vote on your poll. Let us know how you feel about follow-up right now. Either you have a system and you crush it, or no, you need some help.
Can you hear me?
Yay, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yay, awesome.
Yay.
Okay, and we can see you. Perfect. Okay, awesome. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to you, girlfriend.
Thank you. Yay. Okay, now we're working good. Well, hello, everyone. I am, so my name's Julia Meek, and I'm very honored to be on this call. I remember when before I became a coach and I was doing all my Instagram stalking, I would see these team calls and I thought it was so cool, but I never could picture myself talking on one of these or, being part of something like this. So it's so special to me to be able to be on here. And I'm just excited. Today, I'm just going to share some things that I do to follow up with my coaches, my challengers, and what's just really worked for my business. And I just wanted to get right into it because this is actually a really exciting topic for me because all of the women I work with, they come from my follow-ups. And like I'm sure you've heard many times before, the fortune's in the follow-up. But I truly believe that that is 100% true. Inviting is very, very important. And like Brittany said, you have to send that first invite out. But the true magic happens and the excitement happens when you continue to follow up with people. And sometimes, follow-up can kind of scare people, or some people say, I don't want to follow up. I don't want to be annoying or whatever that might be, your reason. But to me, I feel like following up shows the people that I'm reaching out to that I really care about them. You're not just like that you send one message and then they say no or they ignore you and then you're on to the next person. Because how many times does that happen to you? Someone's trying to sell you something and then they send you a message and you're not interested right then. And then it's like, oh, bye. They don't even care about you really. So being good at following up and being persistent with that, you're showing those people that you care about them and they aren't just that quick sale for you. And plus, let's face it, people don't just show up in our Facebook Messenger or send us a text message or whatever saying, okay, Julia, I'm ready to get started. Don't really know how this works, but go ahead and sign me up. It happens maybe every once in a while, but that's not really how we build our businesses. So I like to make it my job to be a follow-up queen, and I'm proud of that. So I just think it's so important that we always are following up. So something that really helps me when I kind of build up this craziness in my head to where I'm scaring myself before I even send the gosh dang message is I always try to tell myself that persistence can turn a no into a yes. And you might have your own example, but this has really helped me. So on the picture on the left-hand side, it's a picture of me and my fiance. And I actually met him at a bar. And I remember telling my mom, I'm like, Mom, I am not going to meet my future husband at a bar. And so after that night, he would text me and he kept asking me to go out on dates, asking me to go out on a date. And I was like, absolutely not. No, that's not, no. And then finally one time he texted me and then something in me was like, Julie, just try it out. What's the worst that can happen? And now 5.5 years later, we're getting married. And the women on the right, those are the women that I've been able to meet through this journey. But I can't help but think about how he was so persistent with asking me, to go on a date with him. That's why we have to be consistently following up with our future challengers or our future coaches. For me, I just wasn't ready to go out on a date with him. And that might be our challengers or our coaches. They're just not ready to get started with us, whether they don't have the funds, or they're a little confused how all this works, or maybe their friend has told them something about Beachbody coaches, whatever it might be, or maybe they see you and they're like, that girl kicks butt every morning, and I really don't know if I can do what she does. And that is why we always have to follow up, because if we're following up, people will finally see like, okay, like she's for real. I can get down with that. They start to trust you. So we all have that stupid limiting belief that's in our head. And I really want to encourage you that when you go to start following up with people, don't go into it thinking like, I have to hit Success Club, so how do I get this person to say yes? Or don't show up with this specific motive in mind. You have to show up thinking, I know what this product has done for me. I know what coaching has done for me, and I'm just sharing it with a friend, or I'm sharing it with someone I've met on social media because it's truly changed my life, and it might be just what that person needs. So never go into it thinking, how can this person help me? Always go into it thinking, how can I serve this person and help them with their lives? And when I go in with that mindset, that energy and that true passion to help people, they can feel it. They don't feel like you're just like, okay, hurry up. Why haven't you said yes yet? I need to, get on to the next one and hit Success Club. They feel like, gosh, this girl really cares about me and wants to help better my life. And so that's why we have to be persistent with always following up with people, because people will really feel that we care about them and we want what's best for them. And you'll never feel icky about it. You'll never feel like you're being salesy or whatever. So if you aren't tracking, you're cray. And so like I said earlier, the majority of girls that join my accountability groups, they all come from me following up with them. No one's just like, okay, yep, I send an invite and then they're signing up 5 minutes later. It takes time, and I have to, build those relationships. And something I've learned in this business is that you don't have to be like super duper organized, because I'm kind of like a squirrel brain. I'm working on one thing, and then 5 minutes later, I've got a really good idea and I'm going over there and I'm trying something else. But I have learned that you have to be consistent with tracking your business, because you don't want to waste a bunch of time scrolling on like Facebook Messenger when you sit down to do your follow-ups. We all are super busy. Our schedules are busy. And the whole reason that we fit this coaching business into our lives is because we can be efficient with it. And I remember when I first got started coaching, I thought, I don't need a tracker. I'm fine. I'll remember everything. And eventually, between working my full-time job, staying in contact with my family, and planning my wedding, and then my business, I felt like my brain was going to truly explode. It was just too much to try to keep track of. And I kept hearing people say, you got to keep, if you want your business, you have to treat your business like a business. And I wasn't doing that. I would never at my full-time job think that I could remember everything in my head. That I would never do that. So that's why I just, decided I had to fully commit to a tracker that would work for me and that I would stay consistent with. And if you really think about it, if you aren't tracking the people you're talking to, on a daily basis, then when you have to go do the follow-ups, how do you know who to follow up with? I mean, you really don't know who to follow up with. And now there are like a gajillion trackers out there. If you Google Beachbody Power Hour trackers, there's so many trackers out there. So I know some people use Streak and TeamZ or Google Docs, Google Sheets, a pen and paper, the Power of Threes, whatever it might be. But you just have to find something that works for you. And for me, so this is my tracker that I fill out every single day. And I don't go to bed until this sucker is filled out. And this is what works for me. And one thing I wanted to point out, when you are tracking your business and deciding on a tracker that's best for you, make sure it works for you. So I know a lot of times I'll see successful coaches doing something, so I think I have to do it like that. But the thing is that we all learn differently. We all operate differently. So if you see a successful coach doing using a specific tracker, that's awesome. That's awesome to try it their way. But if after a few weeks it's not working for you, switch it up. Did this when I first got started, I would fill out my tracker. I would do it, do my power hour. I have it in my schedule, but then I would never look back at my tracker. So I was filling out my tracker, but I wasn't doing anything with it. And if you think about it, that's just really a waste of our time. The whole point of having it is so that you have information and names of people that you added, that you could start building relationships with, people you invited, you could start following up with. So you have that information in front of you so that you can do something with it. And then, so you've picked out a tracker. and you have one and you're like, I am sticking to it, this is my thing, the next thing you have to do is you have to commit to a system. So how many days will you go before following up with people? So like, for example, if I had sent someone a link, I would wait, or an enrollment link, I would probably wait a day or two, and then I would send them a message like, hey, Tammy, I know you were super excited to get started with us. I just wanted to make sure you completed the enrollment so we can reserve your spot. Now, for me personally, I like to wait like a day, sometimes 2 days if that's just what happens. But when you're talking to someone and you are sharing about your accountability groups, you are so excited about it, and people can feel, they feed off that excitement. And so when they are like, yes, I want to do it, you have to make sure you're following up on, quickly, because that excitement fades and then other bills come up and, the different things start happening in their lives. And then that gets put to the back. So I always want to make sure I'm getting people set up when they've got that excitement in their system and they're like, yes, Julia, I want to do this with you. Like, get me started, girlfriend. And the other reason, people just don't respond, and that's why we have to have this tracking system in place, is because people just get busy too. I mean, like I know that when I get a text message, or like if you got a Facebook message and you saw it and you're like, well, that's not like life or death right now, so I can respond later. And then 4 days go by, 5 days go by, and then eventually you get to the point where you're like, I probably shouldn't even respond because now it's just awkward. So if we do it as coaches, then it's kind of, it's okay that our challengers and our coaches do it, and that's why we have to follow up with them. It's our job. So you have to make sure you commit to a tracker that works for your business. So I use my tracker every day, but I also follow this monthly master list. And I use this, well, pretty much just because I needed something. I needed something that I could use that was in front of me where I could track my conversations a little bit more in depth. So I know if you use online tools, they kind of do more of that stuff for you. But for some reason, I just have to have my pen and paper. And so that is what this monthly master list is for me. And it's nothing fancy, literally. I mean, this one's got a few fancy words on it, but you could use a pen, a blank piece of paper, and you just divide it into 2 columns. So I have, on the left-hand side, I have coaches, and then on the right-hand side, I have challengers. And my coaches, this is anyone who has been interested in like a sneak peek, or maybe I've chatted with them on the phone, or I've sent them a webinar link. And then anyone on the challenger side is people who are truly interested in my challenge group. So I sent them a 21-day fix link. I've sent them their 80-day obsession enrollment. So I just want to make sure I'm, having somewhere where I can track them more in depth. And then the next thing, I always like to make sure I'm tracking the information for these people I'm talking to, like the same information. So for me, it's always important to know why they want to do it. Why do they want to do my challenge group? And also any important dates. Because if they're not wanting to start now, maybe I want to follow up with them in a couple months or whatever it might be. So I'm keeping track of that information consistently. And the reason why I love this is because people that you're talking to that show interest in your challenge groups or coaching, they're going to join you eventually. Whether it's now or 5 months down the road, they're going to join you. So you want to make sure you're staying on top of tracking them. And the nice thing with this is that I can, I have the information in front of me when I go to sit down and follow up. So I personally work with a lot of women who are getting ready to, they're planning their wedding and they're getting married this summer. And so I want to make sure that I can track that information. So when I go to follow up with them, I'm not just sending them like, hey, are you ready to join my group yet? I'm able to personalize that follow-up message and say, something like, hey, Chelsea, I know you wanted to get bikini ready for your bachelorette party in June. Did you want to get started this month with us, ladies? Because I know if I got a follow-up message where someone remembered like, oh my gosh, I wanted to look good at my bachelorette party and for my wedding, I would feel like they really care about me. And it just makes you feel better, and it makes people, want to start working with you. So I always make sure when I'm doing my follow-ups, I reference this sheet because it's super helpful and it's all the information in one spot. Oh, Instagram collections. So this is something that I really, really love. And I don't know if like everyone uses this already, but I had to share this because it has been so helpful for me. We're in network marketing, so we're always talking to people. We're always building new relationships. And this is just a really cool way for me to another way to keep track of people that I'm talking to, but also make sure that I'm still interacting with the women that I meet on social media. And I've really focused on Instagram to build my business because I can meet women that are really like-minded and have the same interests as me. And so I spend a lot of my time on Instagram. And what you can actually do with, so Instagram collections, I don't know if they technically call them folders or categories or whatever it is, but you're able to create these different, I'm going to call them folders. You're able to create these different folders and you can add people to them. So if you think about like Facebook lists, it's kind of like a Facebook list. So where you have specific people you want in that category. And the reason why I love this is when I meet someone amazing on Instagram that I think would be, you know, just an awesome coach, or I think, gosh, I have to have her in my challenge group. I don't want to miss out on their posts. I don't want to not be able to engage on those posts or, you know, see their stories, because a lot of times these women, you know, they're like me. So they're posting fun things, whether it's like a new lipstick or new dry shampoo, like that stuff I want to know about. So I want to make sure I'm staying in contact with them. And this allows me to, because, you know, just like Facebook, Instagram has weird algorithms. So when you're scrolling, you know, you miss a lot of people, and who wants to spend hours scrolling on Instagram trying to find this people that they want to see? And for my schedule personally, I'm out on the road a lot. And so whenever I have some downtime, I want to be able to work my business in that downtime. So like if I get to an appointment early, I don't want to sit on Instagram and just scroll mindlessly. I would rather get on Instagram and check in with people, you know, some ladies who wanted to join my challenge group but haven't yet, but I have them in this folder to where I know exactly who wanted to. So as you can see here, I have four folders. I have my future challengers, or I can't even read that, but it's my challengers, my amazing coaches, my future dream coaches. And those are just the 4 categories that really work for me. And so what I do is when I meet someone amazing, I just add them right to those folders. And this has been such a good time saver. So if you have like 5 minutes and you were like, I just want to check in with these 3 girls who wanted to do my challenge group, but you can't always remember everyone's name. You don't have your tracker with you. You can go right into your collection section and you can see who's in there. And then you just click on their picture and go to their profile, and you can comment on their post, show them some love, send them a follow-up message, whatever it might be. It just makes it super easy, and I don't know, it saves a lot of time on my end for my business. And it's very easy to do as well. So if you start over on the left-hand side, you'll see my profile. And you just go to your home Instagram, or your home Instagram like profile. And so just by clicking that little person in the right-hand corner, and then right above there, there's a little bookmark logo. You click on that, and then it'll take you to where it says all in the next image. So it says all on the left-hand side and then collections. And so what you do is you click on collections, and then you're able to add different folders. There's probably some technical term, but I don't know it. And so you add your different folders. So I think you can have way more than this, but this is just kind of what I have right now. And when you click into, so if I clicked into my future amazing coaches or future dream coaches, I can see it has their profiles saved in there. So if I wanted to just go and check in on them and see what they're posting, or go comment on their stuff, I just click on their picture and it takes me directly to their profile instead of sitting and scrolling to see if they've posted anything. And then it's very easy to do. So on the right-hand side, I just did a quick little few steps to how to do that. So if you went to someone's picture, they posted something and you went to their picture. On the right-hand side, you can see that there's that bookmark logo again. So if you click on that, then the 4 little categories or folders at the bottom then pop up, and you just click on which one you want to put it in. And so for me, it's super helpful always having this available on my phone. We always have our phones with us. And so it's just a nice, convenient way when you're out on the go or you forget who you need to follow up with. And it's really helped me. So I would highly suggest checking this out if you haven't. It's a good time saver. So Instagram polls. I absolutely love Instagram stories. I think all of us are super, super nosy. We all want to know what's going on in people's lives. And So, so many people are using Instagram stories. And I know that the majority of girls who join my boot camps, they join and they come from me consistently following up with them. But a lot of them I meet from looking at my stories, because I can see who's consistently looking at my stories. And so if you aren't using Instagram stories, I would highly suggest it. But one of the really cool features about the stories is that you can create these polls. And polls are literally, you're just asking your audience if they're interested in whatever it is that you're offering, or if they have a suggestion, if they like one thing over another. So I always do this when I have a new boot camp starting, because sometimes people might be scared to message you. And this is giving them the perfect in to just click a button and then you'll take care of the rest. So I always do it for a boot camp. And then I've also started to incorporate more polls on things that I'm interested in. So like this one is about hair extensions. And so anyone can vote on this. And when you put the poll up, people will slowly start to vote. And then you can literally see who is voting and wanting information about your boot camp. And so what I do is, of course, we want to connect with them. So I screenshot those names. I add them to my monthly master list. And then, of course, they're getting a message from me. And then so I'll send my messages out. Hey, Tiff, I saw you were interested in my next virtual boot camp starting on March 5th. I'd love to send you the deets, or, something along, or want me to send you the deets, something along those lines. But they literally are telling you, give me information. I want to do what you're doing. If they're taking the time to vote, I think that people obviously want to join in with what we're doing. And then I also do the other polls. So like this one is asking about hair extensions. And I'm not just taking these polls just to see what, I obviously want to know which one wins because it helps me out. But I also am doing this because I can start relationships with people over these polls easily. And so anyone who voted for this, they got a message from me, and I would say something like, hey, Tina, oh my gosh, girl, I'm having the hardest time deciding which kind of hair extensions to get for my wedding. I saw you voted for the Halo ones. Which brand do you have, or what brand do you have? And let me tell you, when you can connect with someone over, whether for me, hair extensions are something I'm super interested in. Maybe it's, games for your kids or whatever it might be. But you can go from being complete strangers on social media to best friends like that. So it's so nice because I'm not inviting these people to anything on these polls. I'm just simply asking for their opinions. And you're building that trust and relationship with them. And so with time, you'll continue to see them showing up on your stories. And then you can eventually follow up and you'll feel comfortable enough to send them an invite. And then they will feel comfortable enough to respond to you and maybe hear you out more so than if you just sent them that random message. Another poll that's been super successful for me is asking, do you struggle with your health, your nutrition or fitness? Do you like working out at home or going to the gym? So, you could send something if you have a blog with recipes, you could say something like, hey girl, I saw you needed help with your nutrition. I have tons of easy recipes on my blog. Is it okay if I send you the link? So you're really not selling these people anything, but you're continuing to build those relationships. And I know that when I am providing value to people, when I go to follow up and extend an invite out to them, they're so much more likely to want to hear me out and just want to see what it is that I have to offer because we've created that relationship. And these are another reason why you should absolutely never run out of people to follow up with. I mean, these are people that are taking the time to show up on your story. Out of all the other people's story they could be watching, they come to yours and they're clicking a button. So that means they're actually looking at it. They're not just like click, 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 click. So when you sit down to follow up with people, I would pull that, take your monthly master list or take your screenshot of, the names that voted and follow up with them, invite them to your next boot camp that's starting up. Because if they don't start right now, eventually they want to start with you because they took the time to do to take the poll. And then just another tip is when you're creating these polls, make sure that you don't just create a poll that's like, do you want information on my boot camp? Yes or no. Make it so that no matter what, you have a way to reach out to them. So like this one, I said, I want to get started and I need info ASAP. So no matter what, these people, they're going to get a message from me. But, someone who maybe is interested in it but not ready to get started, if you just did yes or no, they would click no. But at least if you have the two options that give you a way to reach out to them and build that relationship, you can figure out that A, they're interested, and B, when can I follow up with you? So it gives you the perfect reason to reach out to them and then add them to your follow-up tracking list. And then whoever doesn't join you, follow up with them the next month, because they just might not have been ready to get started with you. You just don't know. So those are super fun, and I highly suggest those. Be bold and create FOMO. We're coaches, and part of our job is following up. I think we should follow up, and if people don't get started with us, then we follow up again and again and again. And, if we left our business up to telling people, let me know when you're ready to get started, or I'm just waiting around for people to join us, we wouldn't be building successful businesses, and we sure as heck wouldn't be changing as many people's lives as we want to, because that's why we usually, most people get started with coaching is so that they can really change people's life and pay this gift forward. So the first thing I do each month is I set a number of people that I am adding to my group, and then I announce it in a post. And so by doing that, you're creating this sense of like an exclusive experience for your challengers. And then you're starting to send out those messages. People are saying yes, that they're interested, they're wanting some information, they want to join you, but then it's inevitable. People just ignore you. Like we already talked about, it happens. People get busy, they don't respond to you. And so you follow up once, you follow up twice, and then you're like, they're just not into it. They aren't going to join me. They aren't ready yet. And I just think that's wrong. I think that right before your challenge group starts, you should send another final invite, follow-up message. So send something like, hey girl, I can actually see that you read my message. If you aren't interested anymore, no worries at all. Just let me know so I can open up this last spot to a girl who really wants to get in with us. It's super easy. And it's creating an awkward, free conversation to where if they've already ignored you twice, they probably are like, I'm too scared to respond to her. And then you're giving them that option to back out if they don't want to, but you're also creating FOMO. How many times do you like tell your friends, you're like, no, I don't want to go out with you, but then you see them all out together and you're like, gosh dang it, why am I not there? So if you're doing your job as a coach and you are sharing consistently on social media what your accountability groups have done for you, how amazing they are, the girls that join and how helpful they are, then people know what they'd be missing out on, and they don't want to miss out on that. So if you're continuing to do that job and sending that last follow-up message, people usually respond with like, oh my gosh, Julia, I'm so sorry. Like, what do I need to do to get started? Or don't give my spot away. I'll do it right now. I'm sorry. I got busy with the kids, whatever that might be. So whenever, like right before my groups start, I just write out a list of 1 to 50 and I just follow up and send these messages, and you'll start to get people to respond to you. And whether they join you right then and they go and fill out that link, or they are like, gosh, Julia, I didn't want to tell you I can't join this month because I'm going on a work trip. And that's no problem at all, because that gives us a perfect reason to follow up with them in the future. So just, tell them, well, is it okay if I'd love for you to join my next group. Is it okay if I follow up with you on March 25th or whatever date you set? So you put that in your tracker, and then it's a perfect way for you to reach out to them next month, and you're getting the okay from them. And then just remember, if they don't answer you, it just might not have been the right time for them, and you have to follow up with them again. And then kind of my last point that I have is just never stop following up with people. Just because you hit Success Club 5 or 10, it doesn't mean that you stop following up with people and inviting. I know that when I first got started, I had this fear of, okay, I hit Success Club 10, maybe I should slow down so that I have people to invite and follow up with in the next month. But don't think in that mindset. If you think in that scarcity mindset, your business will also operate in that same mindset. And you don't want to operate a business thinking, relying on 3 people to purchase that month because you have to hit Success Club. If you operate that way, you're going to feel gross and salesy because you have to stay on top of them like a dog to get them to complete their order. They're going to feel like you are annoying and you are bothering them because you just want that sale, and it's just going to be a bad experience overall. So never think or never operate in that mindset. If you're doing your job and always inviting and always following up, you'll constantly have a flow of people to work with. You'll always be talking to people. You'll always be inviting more people, following up. Ladies will start joining you, and you'll always have that constant stream as long as you're doing those daily activities. Plus, you guys, there are so many people out in the world. How many times have you sat on Instagram and you are mindlessly scrolling and you are like, where did that hour of my life go? So there's all those people, you don't know half of them, you only Insta stalk them, whatever it might be, but there's so many people out there that need our help. So go and send them an invite instead of wasting time scrolling. There's so many people that we could be talking to out on social media. And what I like to think of, the people that I invited when I first got started, sometimes we think, oh, well, they didn't want to join us because they never said anything. But the thing is if you continue to stick with this, people will see you're serious about your job and what you're doing. And then they might, maybe when you first invited them, when you got started, they just weren't ready yet. Maybe they were having a baby, or maybe, they were in college and they had plenty of time to go to the gym for 2 hours a day, but now they're working the 9 to 5 and they can't find time to, even get 8 hours of sleep, and they need something that's more efficient and they can do from home. So you never know where people are in their life. And so that's why you have to always be consistent with following up with them and making sure that they know you're always there for them. And also another thing, if people ignore you, follow up with them with the next month. Don't ever be afraid because they didn't answer you that they don't want to be a part of what you're doing. If you are consistent and always following up with your business, you will always have people to talk to. And that's how you'll continue to have these fun, amazing challenge groups, because you're showing people that you love them, you want them to be a part of what you're doing, and they'll want to join you. And that is my last slide. I know that Brittany had to hop off because she's not feeling well, so I can answer a few questions if anyone has any. So I don't see any questions. I don't know if anyone has any questions. I have some time that I can answer them. But I hope that this information, I've been blocked before, I have too. I hope that this information was really helpful. And this is kind of just what I do with my business every day. Sarah? Okay. I'm just waiting. You guys are welcome. Okay, Sarah, I don't see your question. And oh, how many times have you followed up before they have said yes? I have followed up with people like 7 or 8 times. And I get people who are like, thank you for being so consistent with following up. I have started, I follow up with people that when I first got started. So I just keep going. Yes, do you follow up with them each month, every other month? I follow up with them every month. As long as I can remember who I want to talk to, I follow up with them every month. I really believe that people just might not be ready the last month, and maybe they're too embarrassed to tell you, or they just ignore you. But the next month it might be like, I'm going on a family vacation and I want to look hot. So whatever it might be. So if that is it, I just want to thank you guys again, both Instagram and Facebook, or one or the other. I do both. I follow up with as many people as possible until they tell me to take a hike. Thank you. Okay, you guys have a great night. Bye.